everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna. This is Coffee Books and Bullet Journals. Today I'm going to be reviewing the highest rated books on GoodReads. So I got this idea from Bethany over at Beautifully Bookish Bethany. I will link her channel down below. You should definitely go check out her videos if you haven't already. I feel like if you're on my channel, you should definitely be following her. But anyways, that being said, I'm not sure if, I don't think this was her original idea either, but I can't remember who inspired her video. So I'll link her down below. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking my red shelf on GoodReads. I'm going to be changing it to the average rating and look at the highest rated books that I've read. Basically the books that most people like. And we're just going to talk about them, about why they're up there, why they should be, or if they should be, what I rated them, what I thought about them, and we'll just go from there. Now, a couple of disclaimers. I am only going to be doing ones that have 500 ratings or more, and that is for specifically on the lower end, because I'm also going to be doing a video with the lowest rated books next week sometime. And it's not really fair if a book has like 3 ratings and one person rated it 1 star, then their rating is going to shoot way, way down. So I'm trying to like find an average. So 500 seems to be a pretty good like average, so that like even if a few people didn't like it, they're still going to be higher than, you know, like a 2 something. So that's going to be a stipulation. The second one is if there is books from the same series, I'm just going to lump them together. We're not going to talk about like separate ones. And then thirdly, especially for this one, I'm sure that there will be some Harry Potter books on here. We are not going to talk about them. We're just going to skip right over them because we don't talk about her on the channel. Okay, the first one is The Tea Dragon Tapestry by Katie O'Neill. This is the 3rd book in the Tea Dragon Festival, Tea Dragon Society, I think is the first one. This is the 3rd one. It has 810 ratings for an average of 4.59. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. I think I gave all 3 of them 5 stars. This one was so cute. It dealt a lot with trying to deal with grief and the loss of a loved one, and it handled it so well, and it's just so precious and cute, and the art style is phenomenal. I highly recommend that you pick all of those up. Then we have a couple of Harry Potter books. We're not going to talk about those. Then we move on to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I just read this one. This one has skyrocketed to the top of my favorites list, and I know that it did for a lot of people. I will not be surprised to see that on multiple people's favorite books of 2020 list. So this one has 20,047 ratings for an average of 4.54, which is outstanding. This is such a precious book. It truly is too good for 2020. We don't deserve it, but it is the book we needed this year. And I cannot recommend this book enough. Then we have Heartstopper Volume 1, which is the graphic novel by Alice Oseman, and this is the 1st volume, obviously. It has 51,241 ratings with an average score of 4.53, so also really, really good. I gave this one 4 stars. I really, really liked it. I haven't continued on in the series other than like what's on Webtoons. I haven't like actually looked at the physical books. But for the same reason of The House of the Cerulean Sea, it's just such a heartwarming book. It's precious, it's pure, and in the year of our Lord 2020, that is what we need. Moving to the complete opposite end of the spectrum of heartwarming books, the next one is God's Grave, which is the 2nd in the Nevernight Chronicles. It has 29,388 ratings for an average of 4.53. Really, really good. It's always interesting to see. I feel like 2nd books tend to be rated higher than any book especially in a trilogy. And that is because a lot of people read the 1st book, but not everyone likes it. So then your average tends to be a little bit lower because you do have those people that rate it 2 and 3 stars. And even 1 star. But you bring in the 2nd book, and generally, obviously like there are outliers to this, but generally the people that read the second book are the ones that are committed to the series. And so they're going to like it more. There's going to be fewer of them that are reading it, but they're probably going to like it more. Obviously, that's not always the case because you do have second book syndrome a lot, and I think that kind of can skew the ratings. But I actually really enjoyed this one. I think that it was... I guess I liked Dark Dawn better, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't think that the trilogy ended well. So that's where you kind of end up with the second book being the best book of a trilogy. Obviously, that's just my opinion. I am not a statistician. I don't know these things, but that's just my hypothesis. But this is, like I said, the second book in the Nevernight trilogy, or Nevernight Chronicle, and it is about this badass assassin, and this one actually ends up taking place in basically like a Roman gladiator type arena setting, and it's a little bit of a descent into madness. It's also very queer, specifically the second book, which is probably another reason why it gets bumped up in the ratings, because it's very gay and some sexually explicit scenes in there. So, okay, then we kind of move into, what basically bucks my hypothesis, and that is Obsidio, which is the third book in the Illuminae files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This one has 35,428 ratings with an average score of 4.52. Oddly enough, this one was actually my least favorite of the trilogy. Illuminae was my favorite of the three, with Gemina pretty close behind it, but Obsidio just kind of, to put it bluntly, everything ended too nicely. Everything had a little bow on top of it, and I just wasn't here for that, because I'm a jaded, cynical person. But essentially, this series is about this spaceship that gets, or the space colony that gets blown apart, gets attacked, and then they're on these different spaceships. There's like 3 different spaceships, I think, that they're on. And it's quite the Star Trekian adventure. It's a fascinating series. The science is there. These two authors are great at the dialogue and the relationships of characters. Obviously, I can't talk a lot about what Obsidio is because it's the third book. But highly recommend the entire series if you haven't already read it. Then we move on to The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This has 498,786 ratings, so more than any other book that we've talked about so far, with an average rating of 4.52. Why people would rate this less than 5 stars, I don't know. But this is about a girl, a black girl, who is in the car and sees her unarmed friend get shot by a white cop, and the events that follow that, specifically the grand jury indictment, the press, the riots, the protesting, things like that. This is such a good book. It's phenomenal. Every person needs to read this book. I talked about this in multiple vlogs and wrap-ups and things like that. So highly recommend that you check that out. I love that there's almost 500,000 ratings on GoodReads, which is just amazing. Then we have some more Harry Potter books. We are moving to another 2020 release, and that is Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. I'm so happy that this book is so far up there. This has 9,116 ratings with an average of 4.5. I gave this one 3.5 stars, but I think that I'm not the target audience for it. I think that there is definitely, I'm just a little too old for the book. I think that had I been in high school, this would have touched me on such a deep level, and I think that anyone who is trans definitely needs to read it. Like I said, I'm a white cis adult woman, so he's a black queer trans high schooler, so like we're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So as a book, I think that this was so good, and I mean, obviously we had some high school drama in it, which I think was probably what brought my rating down, but the things that we actually talk about and the topics that are discussed in this book are spot on and just beautiful. Okay, the next one is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, and this is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe trilogy, so we kind of have that same second book being the highest of the series, and this one has 72,755 ratings with an average score of 4.48. I loved this book. I think that it was a phenomenal second book, and it just, upped the stakes so much. The politics were there. It was a phenomenal book. I think probably better than Scythe, which, you know, is saying something because Scythe made my top 10 of 2019. I'm going to stop that there because after that it kind of gets a little muddled. Lots more Harry Potter. We don't want to get into that. So I'm going to go ahead and end that there. I'm curious if you go to your red shelves and sort it by average rating, what's your highest rated book, and do you think it deserves to be at the top spot? So let me know down in the comments below. And like I said, I will be doing the flip side of this, and I will look at my lowest graded books and see if they deserve to be on the bottom in a video next week. So stay tuned for that. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video. And all of the links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Makes this heart beat faster.